Texas State's TJ Finley into the transfer portal. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Dave Schultz, another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. All right, we will, after we talk TJ Finley, we'll get more in depth on Kane Wommack's move to Alabama and who the potential candidates are for the head coaching job for the Jaguars with my buddy Creg Stephenson from AL.com. He was outside of the athletic department's offices first thing on Tuesday morning. So we will talk to him about what went down over the last couple of days in Mobile. But on Tuesday afternoon, we got some shocking news. Actually, I guess it started, was it Monday? Jayden de Laura transferred to Texas State, which kind of caught everybody off guard because why would he transfer from Arizona to Texas State? He may transfer from Arizona because they had a freshman who led him to a 10-win season after de Laura got hurt. But he goes to Texas State after Finley decides he's coming back, and he announces it like last Thursday. That was Friday's episode. TJ Finley back to Texas State. And so what is going on here? And so let's just do a little bit of a timeline, okay? So at about, this is 1:53 on Tuesday, Peter Nakos from On3 says, Texas State TJ Finley plans to enter the transfer portal. Whoa, what's going on there? All right. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw that, about 15 minutes later maybe, I was wondering, because we already know de Laura has transferred to Texas State. So I'm wondering if this is a chicken and egg situation, right? Did de Laura transfer to Texas State because Finley was going into the portal? Or was Finley to the portal because de Laura transferred to Texas State? Otherwise, did de Laura come because they knew he was leaving, or did Finley leave because de Laura showed up? Well, about 2:45, Kev Giardello from the very popular Win Now or Get Bent podcast tweeted out, just spoke to TJ Finley. He said he wasn't aware of Jayden de Laura's commitment to Texas State before it happened. When asked if his plan was to come back to the Bobcats before yesterday, he said 100%. So basically, de Laura is being recruited by G.J. Kinney and company, I presume, to back up TJ Finley, but I don't know. I don't know. They're going to have a competition. What we found out, whether it's in college or the pros, right? I mean, Coastal Carolina had 3 quarterbacks this year. App State had to go to their quarterback almost immediately, right? Jordan McLeod wasn't the starting quarterback. He came in almost immediately, won Player of the Year award. So you got to have somebody raring to go, right? We've seen that in the NFL, and we've certainly seen it in college. The last 2 seasons, the Cajuns have played 3 different quarterbacks in the last 2 years. So you got to have a backup. But that's a pretty good backup, right? I mean, that's not a guy coming to sit behind somebody else just in case. I don't think. You would have think there would have been many more, I don't know about many more, but other opportunities to go and start somewhere from a Power 5 school such as Arizona, that he'd have other opportunities. And apparently not. So we'll see, because it kind of felt like TJ Finley was shopping himself around. He didn't really go into the portal, right? He never really announced it, but it took him a little bit of time for him to announce he was coming back to Texas State. Maybe he was looking and he couldn't find anything that was to his liking, so he'll come back. And I kind of thought after the new year came around, and remember, we were talking about Zion Chris at the time, and he kind of did that almost right after the new year, that TJ Finley maybe had finally settled on a nice little deal in San Marcos. He's got a couple of kids. He's got a wife, twins. And so, you got to support the family. And so I figured, again, it's not going to be high 6 figures or low 7 figures, but you get a nice high 5-figure deal in San Marcos. And now you can take care of the family. But now you get Delora, who transfers in, and all of a sudden, I don't even know if I'm the starter anymore. And who knows how that money is tied into it. If I'm not the starter, do I get the money? I don't know how these NIL deals work. But all of a sudden, GJ Kinney signs a new contract. You got Ishmael Mahdi coming back, and then TJ Finley's coming back, and Texas State is your, de facto Sun Belt West Division, favorite. Right. Troy is starting anew, right? And all of a sudden, in the last few days, Kane Wommack is leaving South Alabama. They're going to be starting anew-ish, right? We'll see how many kids leave. How many kids leave the program in the transfer portal? I don't know how that's going to work out, but really, it's Arkansas State and Texas State and probably the Cajuns, and we'll see where the Fighting Will Halls land in that. But now we don't know. It's a little bit of upheaval, right? There's only, are we 2 months away from spring ball? We're 2 months away from spring ball. We'll see if TJ Finley, if they can talk him to come out of the portal and stay. This would be his best shot to do that. But he is, people pointed out he'd be going to his 4th school in 5 years. That's kind of rough. So what appeared to be, all roses for Texas State seems to be anything but now. And that they still need probably a backup quarterback who's ready to step in. It was a pretty good quarterback room, on, Tuesday before noon. And then it kind of got all shook up, maybe even Monday. It kind of got all shook up when the transfer came in, and now TJ Finley's out. I still wouldn't be surprised if TJ Finley comes back, and we'll see what happens. But it does appear that GJ Kinney went out and got himself another quarterback. I don't know if it was to compete for the starting role or whatever the case may be. And then you hear all these, these kids don't want to compete. Well, he came back thinking he was going to be the starter. I know all these guys got to compete every time out, and that's the way it works. Regardless, no one is just gifted a starting role, but that seems to be a little bit different, right? These teams don't generally bring in that kind of competition for a starter. So we will see what happens down the road. All right. So that certainly is interesting, as this not only does the coaching carousel go round and round, but this transfer portal and NIL stuff, it is never going to end. They do whatever happens, they have to figure out on how to deal with it, because it does seem to be a little bit out of control. And I'm pro transfer portal and pro NIL, but you just can't get a handle on it. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, Creg Stephenson from AL.com, South Alabama beat writer, hops on to talk about Kane Wommack. Let me tell you a little bit about LinkedIn Jobs. There we go. At the start of the new year, every small business owner is asking themselves the same question. What's the one move I can make that'll take my business to the next level in 2024? LinkedIn Jobs knows that your success all depends on the team you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and may not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's bring on my buddy from AL.com, the South Alabama beat writer, Creg Stephenson, talking about Kane Wommack heading to the Alabama Crimson Tide as their new defensive coordinator. All right, we're talking with Creg Stephenson, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. He's a South Alabama beat writer for AL.com. Let's tell Al. Okay. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back and wrap things up with Creg Stephenson. We'll talk about the kind of coach that Alabama is getting in Kane Wommack and who may be some of the candidates to take over for Wommack with South Alabama. Let me tell you a little bit about FanDuel. The NFL's regular season is wrapped up, but there's still plenty of time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. And Jase Medical. I know we come to sports to escape from some of the crazy realities of real life, but can we talk just for a minute about preparing for real life? According to the FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics right in the middle of the worst flu season in over a decade, and that is scary. I can't imagine a more helpless feeling than a brother or my mom getting sick while supply chain issues keep them from life-saving medication they need. Thankfully, we'll be okay because of Jase Medical. The Jase case is a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including UTIs, respiratory infections, skin infections, among others. This stuff could happen to any of us. Visit jasemedical.com and complete your physician encounter. It'll be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. Go to jasemedical.com and use offer code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your offer. jasemedical.com. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's continue our conversation with Creg Stephenson, AL.com beat writer for the South Alabama Jaguars, talking a little bit about what kind of coach Kane Wommack is and who may be up next as the new head coach for South Alabama. It is Creg Stephenson on Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.